Good morning. My name is James Ian Werbisky. I have a brother named William James Ian McCall, and then there's another one of me. There's three of us, I know that for a fact. I woke up Queen Elizabeth and Prince William. I was living at Debbie and Peter Amero's house in Edmonton, Alberta, and in the Nate neighborhood. And in the summertime, I woke up and I had bullet holes all over my body. I'm missing parts of my head. It's really horrible. I'm missing parts of my head. I've got all kinds of memories of being in the war and stuff. And I wanted to read you this Declaration of Independence. Now, if I cannot be the King of England and I can't have access to be in charge of everything, then because I'm a direct descendant of King James, I want all of the money, and William can go live on a pension from the military and stuff like that. That's not your money. You guys are not royal. You guys are lying about that. Queen Elizabeth, you know well as I know. King George in the 1800s, the late 1800s, King George couldn't have a heir. He couldn't produce a heir to the throne. So the throne fell to Queen Victoria, his wife, who then King George died, and Queen Victoria married her first cousin, Prince Albert. And then through Prince Albert, and there was the royal family, and then it came up, and then right after the First World War, your father, Queen Elizabeth, married his cousin in breeding the royal family. So that is two times, and right from King George, I have the information for you. Now here's my Declaration of Independence. To the justice system and the Queen, attention has come my way on the future of Canadian politics and the House of Commons that is the one English parliamentarian system that is controlled by the French, which is way wrong. Canada before white settlers was all Indian territories, including Quebec, which was Iroquois territory, self-governed by the different tribes that crossed over the Bering Sea land bridge. Our current government, Queen Elizabeth, as you know, is British in nature, modeling the Westminster Abbey system of the British monarchy and its Dominion progeny. Whether left stated or left to be inferred, the individuous comparison drawn was with the Congress of the United States and its Declaration of Independence, where private interests and money are said to rule. By contrast, party of the government leadership and discipline were believed to ensure that the parliamentarian system promoted and represented public interests. And you know that's not happening. It's the rich people that are running things, and that's not the way it works. Today, Queen Elizabeth, my parliamentarian government in Canada and Great Britain is scorned for the same reason my grandparents were scorned. The titleship of the monarchy of you, Queen Elizabeth, are German-based and falsified, hiding the truth about me, Christian, the royal trident bloodline from King Zeus from Greece, that came from my grandmother, Hildebardopoulos Genovese, from the Parthenon, and my Scottish grandfather, Ronald Crawford Watson, from the Buchanan-Watson clan that holds the bloodline of God. The Watson, Corleone, Buchanan, Bardopoulos Genovese family hold kingsmanship over the Saxe, Coburg, and Gothic name Windsor, fabricated and assumed in 1917 to conceal the fact after her German monarchy and all German monarchies were abolished for high treason, levying World War I against the UK, Canada, and Europe, denying refugee status to all Jewish immigrants outside of Germany. No, I can only assume that would have been Queen Victoria. The Protestant crown Queen of England and the UK, Elizabeth, represents the Catholic Church Pope. In 1855, the Catholic Pope Pius IX crowned Edishchenko and the Filium Pakistani from the heavenly Arafa realms, King of Kings, and freely assumed Ed Ishchenko without lawful authority to be the judge and ruler of Canada, the United States, the UK, and all nations, stealing my crown as King James Ian Werbisky, mighty God, prophesied in Isaiah. Acts chapter 17, verse 23. When I got out of jail, I should have been getting a government paycheck and being trained on what to do with the monarchy. All right. Queen Elizabeth is not the real Queen of Canada and holds no royal lineage. Elizabeth, and Your Honor, the Crown Pope's loyalties and duties were owed to the real Queen, Diana, and not the people. And that's the basic principle of every dictatorship in history that falls under a king and queen, ma'am Elizabeth. Contrary to what you've been intentionally and fraudulently led to believe, the Crown does not represent the government of Canada, nor the illegitimate German Saxe, Coburg, and Gothic Windsor family, or Hitler U-schooled Philip Battenberg, forgive me, and or you, Elizabeth, which are really claiming to be the Queen of England, Canada, and the Commonwealth. Elizabeth, in Your Honor, actually the Crown represents the corporate jinn, grey alien entity of the Pope, self-proclaimed Adyshchenko, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. For all intents and purposes, the Crown represents the Vatican Mafia and Ian Jinn as a jinn god and its criminal activities in Canada, the UK, and the illegally established 1871 Crown Corporation of the United States, where also that Spain was left out. The Crown ceased to represent the UK and the Canadian monarchy of Diana, given to me, King James, from Pierre Elliott Trudeau in the Constitution Act 82, when Queen Victoria forfeited the Protestant England throne by marrying her German first cousin, Roman Catholic First Reich Prince Albert Saxe, Coburg, and Gothica, violating the 1701 Act of Settlement Law and her coronation oath, as Pope Pius IX assumed falsely Adyshchenko's control over the German monarchy of England, Canada, and the Commonwealth, and the Bank of London. Basically, had Queen Victoria found the royal bloodline, you guys would be royal, but she did not marry my dad, James Richard Werb Iskey, holds the royal bloodline of King James from Scotland. On January 1st, 1855, its Bank of England became a crown corporation of the Pope called the City of London Corporation, making all of the crown corporations assumed Adyshchenko via racketeering corporate assets of the Pope, who assumed Adyshchenko's title of the crown of King of Kings, with Ewan and Edgar Adyshchenko claiming to be the two-tiered federal and provincial government in Canada. These two fraudulent people, in doing so, stole my childhood right as King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Psalms 24:10. Who is this King of glory? The Lord God of hosts. He is the King of glory. Psalm 65. Praise is awaiting in you, O God, Ian, in Zion. Basically, in Scotland, William Wallace and Ronald Crawford Watson, my grandfather's ancestor, fought the English, which would be Kenneth Lee Oakley, for independence due to the fact that the English were stealing women from Scotland, trying to steal the bloodline from God from the Watson Buchanan clan, and the Trident bloodline from Grandma Hildebardopoulos Genovese's family, whom were in exile in the Crimea Peninsula in Russia. And the Oakleys also abducted James Richard Werbisky, stealing his bloodline, making Kenneth Lee Oakley. And then they abducted Kenneth Lee, Oakley's clone, and had him sleep with his Auntie Beth to create George Martinson and Sophie Martinson, which are totally incestual and wrong. Two shall not make untook Kenneth Lee any graven image. That's right, Elizabeth, you'll be doing that. Due to Grandma and Grandpa's holding the Aaronic and David bloodline from King David, the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, ma'am, on the deity of the Godhead founded by Ewan and Adyshchenko as supreme, and the rule of law, which you know is flawed due to the criminals within the law. Ma'am, it is true that whatever their theory, all constitutions today are attributed to a people, yet it is a questionable attribution in a constitutional monarchy such as me, King James Ian Werbisky, or William James Ian McCall's claim where there is no base for popular constituent power by skimming consensus except the undeniable proof that our Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms gives me unprecedented access to Donna Friesen's help, proving that the unknown God is me, King James Ian Werbisky, and stopping Ewan and Edeschanko or Prince Charles or Wade Allen Ischanko from becoming king is priority number one, righting or wrong when in the beginning was Gwendolyn Maria Watson, my childhood wife, which automatically made us both supreme eons, king and queen of the earth and the universe and Canada's government, being coveted today by Ewan and Edeschanko or Rapha from the Book of Kings, whom King David, my twin clone brother, supposedly slew over 2,000 years ago, wiping their seeds from my planet Earth. Yet here we are today, ma'am, faced with the same dilemmas that should have been addressed when the Honorable Justin Pierre Trudeau took office in the year of my Lord Arthur Watson on November 4, 2015, sworn in by Governor General David Johnston. My King James Bible not only proves my titleship of Crown Canada, but also that in the book of Acts, my claim of being God, James Ian Werbisky, and that also the fact of holding the trident triple strand DNA from my ancestor, Zeus, king of all gods, that proves I am from Greece and the founder of the modern parliamentarian system. The book of Acts, chapter 17, verse 22 and 23, ma'am, respectively. Then Paul stood in the midst of the Mars Hill and said, Ye men of Athens, I perceive that in all things ye are too superstitious, for as I passed by and beheld your devotions, I found an altar with this inscription, To the unknown God, whom therefore ye ignorantly worship, him declare I unto you. That's James Ian. This proves when I got out of Brandon Correctional Center in 1989 at the age of 23, I should have been crowned Canadian Prince of Peace, and that Ewan and Edeschanko not only stole my crown, but that my present landlord Peter and Deborah Amaro knew that I was the rock of the church, as the Gospel of Thomas spake in saying number 12, Jesus, we know that you are going to leave us, so whom is our new leader? Jesus spake, saying, Wherever you are to go to James the righteous, for whose sake the heaven and earth came in two beings. James Bond, 0077. You know that and I know that. That's right, there's two of me. There should only be two of me. Not only does this prove my claim that back in the day Jesus was not the Messiah, just a prophet Issa, as the Quran states, quoting that his brother James, my ancestor, was holding the trident bloodline of Zeus, king of all gods, and that he got this anomaly from his father Joseph. The Holy Quran proves I am God, Ian Ischanko Werbisky, and that Ewan and Edeschanko knew this, as did the Royal Canadian Mounted Police and the Canadian government and the monarchy, as my criminal record with the Edmonton City Police proves. I have two last names, and that I went by the name Ischanko from the age of 3 to the age of 25, proving that Peter and Debbie Amaro knew, saying nothing to the Canadian government, letting Ewan and Edeschanko steal my crown, even trying to murder me when I was 16 in Peachland, as the Holy Quran shall speak volumes about Otis Johnson and Edeschanko's plot to murder me when I was 16. The Byzantines, chapter 15. See, William? God is the one who shall return people to life after death. He has power over all things, over two things, proving that I, James Ian Werbisky Ischanko, am indeed God and crowned Canadian Prince of Peace. And that's all I have to say. And I have a Bible where I've sent you guys pictures of this Holy Bible in here. I've sent you pictures in there. I also have proof in here too. It says here, by the Most High and Mighty Prince James, by the grace of God, King of Great Britain, France, and Ireland, defender of the faith. And that is right. They switched me and my brother out. I have green eyes. I don't have a criminal record. My real name is James Ian Werbisky, but my brother had my ID for the last 53 years, Elizabeth. So I need my criminal record cleared up, and I need to get my passport this month. And don't you think, it says in November all the gas was supposed to be drained. Don't you think at least you should have brought me to Frogmore or brought me to England where I could start learning what I'm supposed to do? Because if I can't be the king of England, and I can't right the wrongs, and I can't have access to everything on earth, the triangles and all the stupidity that's going on in the States, then I want to abolish the monarchy permanently, because I don't think that you people, there's 10 commandments, the 10 commandments, two 10 commandments. I have green eyes, which proves they switched me out. So my brown-eyed brother would get into trouble under my name, and then I was hiding somewhere under the name of William James Ian McCall, and I think I was registered in the military under that, or Orion Thomas Nilsson. I think those are only two names, or David Ian Webb. I was using one of those three aliases, and then they switched me out. However, I have green eyes and all these bullet holes all over me, and I can prove that that's proves that my brother with the criminal record has brown eyes. So that's the problem with the police. Yet they're not listening to me. I've talked to Staff Sergeant Steve Sharp, who is my best friend Randy Hurry from Whitehurst, who actually has a criminal record with the RCMP, and nobody's really took address with that. So I suggest you talk to him. He would know more about, to talk to Randy. He would know more about this than I would. So, and he's changed his name to Steve Sharp. So, but anyways, ma'am, have a good day. If you want, I'll formally send all of this for you in January. I'll send it to the Montreal Gazette du Canadien, and then I'll send it to the Royal Mail. And then I suggest, I want to move forward, and because they're pumping nerve gas all throughout here, I can leave anytime I want. You could arrest the guy managing the building. You could arrest the Peter that owns the building for crimes against humanity. We have them. So either way we have them. You can do whatever you want, because guess what, Elizabeth? I am God and you're still alive. That's right, I'm on your team. So that's the way I look at things. And yeah, William, you can help me and we can work together. And, you know, I guess I'll learn everything about the monarchy, because I really don't want to get rid of the monarchy. I think we have to have some system that runs all the money, because what gives somebody the right, like Elon Musk, to think that he can have $55 trillion and then there's a guy in the street with nothing? That doesn't make any sense. There's got to be some commonality between everything. And if there isn't going to be any commonality and I have to destroy the monarchy, then I'll move to Sweden or Finland or Russia, and from there I'll take over the earth. So you guys are going to have to choose about that. But you guys know where I live. I want my criminal record cleared. Please, ma'am, could you do that for me? Could you get a hold of yeah, that would be Staff Sergeant Bill with homicide in the Edmonton City Police, and that would be the new police chief, McPhee. You'll have to get rid of, or you're not get rid of him, but you'll have to get a hold of him and have to do this, because I want the truth told about this, because I have a brown-eyed brother that had my ID for 53 years old, amassing a criminal record, when actually in the book of Acts, chapter 17, verse 23, it proves that I have green eyes, the military's green eyes. It proves that I was actually in the military, that my name was James Ian Werbisky, and they had me under another alias. And I won all my medals for fighting in all the wars. You know, you can't just make stuff up like that. Like Adam Beach, this Indian, said to me, live the memories. He said, the memories. He said, believe half of what you hear and all of what you see. So that's what I'm going by. Okay, you guys have a good day, ma'am. I'll take my glasses off and try to show you that I have green eyes, but everybody keeps trying to hack in there, and they're putting my black-eyed clone on there. But I have pictures where I have green eyes. I'll show you. You see me in person, you'll see I have bullet holes all through the top of my head. I have a bullet hole. See that? I have a huge bullet hole there. Right there. I'm missing half of my skull there. See there? And right on the top, I got a huge dent there. Oh yeah, I'm missing this leg. On my right leg, I'm missing half of the front of my leg. I got bullet shrapnel all through my other leg. So I know that somebody's not telling the truth. We need to stop Edgar and Ewan and Wade. He needs to be on my team, and it's time to move forward, ma'am. I'm pleading with you, because I'm sitting here daily. Also, I hear that Dr. Ian McCall. I hear that I'm also a doctor. I'm also a doctor. After I was in the military, I was a doctor and all this stuff. I'm reading all this stuff. It's called a Women's Book of Power, Yukon's Women of Power by Joyce. Yeah, it's Joyce. It's called Yukon's Women of Power. And I forget the name of the by Joyce. It's by Joyce Hayden, Yukon's Women of Power, and it's Joyce Hayden in there and Meg McCall. It says that I have green eyes and my name. I went under William James Ian McCall. So I'm either William James Ian McCall or I'm James Ian Werbisky. But either way, I'm going to be the king. See, so either way, if you can't fix up my ID, my other ID, then go under James Ian William McCall, and I'd like to get all my ID back in that. Okay, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. Thank you, William and Katie, and thanks, Harry, renegade.